In this video, we're going to talk about clairsentience, which is also known as clear feeling. So signs of a clairsentient are that you are able to pick up on the emotions of others. So if you are about to hang out with a friend and she seems to be fine and she's got her happy face on and she's trying to act as if everything's great, but you can just feel like something is nagging at her, like she's putting on a front, that is a good sign that you're clairsentient because you were able to really feel what's going on inside of her and you're not falling for this facade that she's putting on, right? You can feel it when there is a presence nearby. Have you ever been in a situation where you were alone, but you felt as if something was watching you? Or you felt as if something was standing right next to you? Well, that's because of your clairsentient abilities. You were feeling different spirits and vibes that were very close to you, even though it appeared as if no one was around. Through clairsentience, you also pick up on physical sensations like cool breezes and hot spots. You may be very in tuned with the temperature of the air around you. You may be also extra sensitive to the feeling of different cloths against your skin. So if you're a highly sensitive person, if that is something that you have been diagnosed with as HSP, you probably naturally have some clairsentient abilities. Physical sensitivity to historical sites is actually a pretty big one. This one is very common. To give you an example of what this is like, I want to tell you about a story that happened to me about a year ago. So I had gone with one of my friends to San Antonio, Texas to visit the Alamo. And when I had gotten there, when I'd gotten to San Antonio, I was not feeling very well at all. Now, on the way there, I was fine. You know, I was tired because it was a 5-hour car ride there, but overall, I was fine. But as we started to walk around this city, and especially in specific areas, I started to feel really nauseated. I started to feel really sick. And I couldn't quite place my feeling on, or I couldn't quite place my finger on what was causing me to feel this way. And it wasn't until later on that a friend had told me that most likely I was picking up on all the energies and vibrations and residuals that were stuck there in that area. You might notice that if you've ever been to a historical area where something bad had happened, or even if you are in a museum where there's a lot of artifacts around you, where you're surrounded by things like that, and you start to get different pieces of knowledge for no reason, or you just start to feel overwhelmed, you feel nauseated, or maybe you feel ecstatic, maybe you feel very joyful and happy if you're in an area where something good had happened. Again, those are all signs of being clairsentient. And if you have been told you were an empath, then obviously you're clairsentient, and most likely this is your biggest gift, or rather it's the clair that works strongest for you. So as empaths, you may have found that you have a really hard time turning this ability off. And even though I didn't make any plans to talk about how you can shield yourself if you're an empath, if you're clairsentient, I think we're going to talk about that a little bit later in this module. So after we go through the exercises, hang around because I'm going to go ahead and add that in here so that you can walk around and feel protected and okay. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and get back into our picture. So take a look at this one more time. I know you probably have it memorized by now. Go ahead and close your eyes. Taking a deep breath. Exhale fully. One more time. Breathe in deeply, filling your lungs with oxygen. Hold it for a moment and breathe out. Relax your shoulders, relax your arms, relax your back. You may even want to make sure that you have relaxed the area on your forehead. Sometimes we tend to furrow our eyebrows a little bit, so we want to make sure we're also relaxing our face muscles. And bring this picture back into your mind. I want you to go back into that picture. You're going to take a look at Everything around you, the trees, the sky, the water, the building. Just soak it all in. Pay attention to the different smells. Pay attention to the different sounds. And now I want you to pay attention to how you feel here. And when we talk about how you feel here, I want you to think about the different physical sensations you may be feeling. I also want you to think about the emotional sensations as well. So what I'm going to do this time around is I'm going to give you a 2-minute break. I know usually it's just one, but this is the 4th clair that you've worked on. So you have a lot of different clairs that are being layered upon this picture now. And what I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and walk around this area. I want you to walk around the trees, walk along the water, walk around the little path that's present in the picture if you want to. You don't have to. You can decide to sit on the ground if you want to or have a picnic. Do whatever you want. But I want you to be able to really move around here this time. And as you're moving, as you're exploring, I want you to pay attention to what you feel in this area. So I'm going to leave you now while you explore. Okay, go ahead and open up your eyes and grabbing your journal or opening whatever it is that you're using to document your progress. I want you to write down on a scale of 1 to 10 how clearly you could feel the sun, the shade, or other elements in this place. And here's really what I'd like you to do. I want you to think about the physical sensations that you had. Did you feel the sun on your skin? Did you feel a breeze brush against your skin? Like, what did you feel? And I want you to write those down. And then right next to each physical sensation that you had, write down on a scale of 1 to 10 how well you felt each physical sensation. And I want you to do the same thing for an emotional sensation. Like, did you feel peaceful there? Did you feel a little anxious? Did you feel sad? Did you feel concerned? Like, what did you feel there? Did you feel a sense of awe and wonder? What was it? What emotional sensations did you get? And then go ahead and rate that too. And what you're really rating is how strong that sensation was, how strong that feeling was. And I have an inclination that for a lot of you, that number's going to be pretty high. I think for a lot of you, you'll have felt something emotionally, something inside of you, and that will probably have been the easiest thing that you were able to connect with during this exercise. So go ahead and make those notes right now. You can pause this video if you have to as you're working in your journals. Now, to increase your clairsentience, what you want to do is gain a clear awareness of your emotions, and this means all of your emotions. A lot of times when we're sad, frustrated, or angry, whenever we experience something that we would label as negative, our first inclination is to suppress those emotions, right? We don't want them to come to the surface because we don't like to feel them. They're painful, they hurt. So really, when it comes to building these muscles, your clairsentience muscles, you need to give those emotions a voice. You need to allow them to come to the surface so that you can feel them in their fullest. And really, this is a healthy self-care exercise and not just a psychic exercise, because there's that old saying, the way out is often through, or the way out is through. And in order for us to be able to really put some type of emotional trigger to the side, we have to go through it. We have to allow those emotions to surface. Now, whether or not you decide to express those emotions is a very different matter. So if you're feeling great sadness, you may want to cry. If you're feeling anxious, you may, I don't know, if you're like me, I tend to lose my appetite when I'm anxious and I have to go for a walk or I have to do something because I don't like that. I get that jittery feeling. So do what you have to do to work through those emotions, but try not to suppress them anymore. And when I say do what you need to do, of course, I mean that you're going to do something that does not harm anyone else or harm yourself, right? You need to express these emotions safely. So maybe journaling, crying, yelling at a wall, I don't know, whatever it is you have to do to work through these emotions is what you should do. And also pay attention to the severity, to the intensity of these emotions as they arise. Because once again, Spirit will work with you through your emotions as well, all right? The other thing is to build an awareness of the different physical sensations that you feel from time to time. So when you are laying down in the sun, pay attention to how that feels. When you're going for a walk, pay attention to how the concrete or how the ground feels on your feet with each step. When your cat comes up and rubs against you, pay attention to that. So take a day, take at least one day to devote your awareness to the physical and emotional sensations that you're feeling around you. Even when you place your hand on, say, the hard surface of a counter or your coffee table, just pay attention to that. Build a muscle memory. You'll be amazed at how it helps you in building different visualization exercises or guided meditations if you decide to take that on as a practice. So in addition to, of course, giving Spirit more things to work with, again, we're trying to build more files, create a stronger language, clairsentient language for Spirit to work with. It can also help you through, again, through guided meditations and visualizations, if that's what you're working on as well. So let's talk about ways to protect yourself, because there are times when you may walk into a room, say a funeral or maybe even a wedding, where there are some sad people there, anxious people, depressed, and maybe you're already feeling emotionally depleted. And so to take on those emotions from other people can make you feel even more fatigued and more frustrated. Can even get you to feel sick, really, when we already feel as if our energy has been depleted and we feel as if people are trying to take even more of our energy, or we start to feel even more sad and more anxious. That's when we just get sick, right? That's when we become bedridden for a while. That's when our immune system gets suppressed and we get the flu, fast, or colds. We just get sick. We get sick, so we want to avoid that. So one of the exercises I would like to invite you to do is to visualize that you are in a bubble. So you may want to go ahead and do this right now. So go ahead and close your eyes. And I want you to imagine that there is this bubble all around you. So you know when you were a kid and you used to blow bubbles? Imagine that that's kind of what this looks like. Imagine that you had blown a bubble with your little bubble wand, and this bubble became so big that it was able to fit you. You were able to walk right on into it and it did not pop. So go ahead and imagine that now. Imagine that you blow this huge bubble. You're able to walk into it without popping. You may want to just stand in the middle of it. You may even want to sit down. And look at this bubble. This is your protective bubble. And you may even want to infuse it with a color that brings peacefulness to you. It makes you feel content or makes you feel protected. So decide right now what color feels best for you. Maybe it's purple, maybe it's blue, maybe it's pink. Maybe it's all of them. Maybe you have a multicolored bubble. There's no right or wrong color for this bubble. And once you find a good color for it, you look up and you notice that there's this stream of light coming down from the heavens and it flows over this bubble. And so what this stream of light is doing is it is adding an extra layer of protection. So now we have this universal energy that's all around us that is protecting us from outside influences. So if you are someone who is easily affected by the emotions of other people and even by the words and looks. And when I mean looks, I mean, those dirty looks that people can shoot our way. If you're sensitive to the energy of other people, this could be a good exercise for you to try. So go ahead and give that a shot. And then once you feel as if your bubble has been reinforced and you feel safe, you feel content, you may even want to take a deep breath in that bubble and breathe it out. Just know that you're safe. Feel those feelings of being safe. Feel those feelings of being very secure. Now when you're ready, you can open your eyes. And know that you have this protective bubble that is through you throughout the day. So even though you can't see it during your waking moments, hopefully you can still feel it around you. And you can go ahead and do that right now. With your eyes open, you can just make it your intention to feel this bubble around you. And maybe you will. Maybe you'll feel as if you hit its boundaries, you've hit its borders. And so that's how you know that it is still there. The other thing that you may want to do sometime in the future is if you ever feel as if someone is directly sending negative energy your way, that they are directly sending you negative thoughts and they're doing this consciously and on purpose. The other thing you can do is you can still visualize that same bubble, but what you may want to do is actually reinforce it with mirrors so that the mirrors are reflecting outward and not inward towards you. You want these mirrors reflecting outward towards the outside world. And what this does is it reflects back any negative energy that someone is sending to you. So if someone is sending you bad thoughts, if someone's really upset with you and you are the target of their anger and of their hatred, what the mirror does is it stops all that energy from coming through and it bounces it right back to them. So that's something that you can try as well. If you feel like you need, some added protection, give that a shot. For me, I think that the golden light reinforcement should be well enough. But for some of the friends and people and psychics that I know that I've worked with, when they do feel as if they need an extra layer of protection, they go for the mirrors and they all swear by it. They say it works really, really well. So I have not tried it myself. As of this point, I haven't felt as if I've needed to. So go ahead, give that a shot and see if it works for you.